Right, guys. Hello, everyone. Today's session is going to be a bit shorter than usual, mainly because I haven't had much time to prepare it today. Ironically, I will explain why. Because today's topic will be about time. So I'm just going to give everyone a few more minutes, see if anyone else joins the live stream, and if they do, we will begin. And if they don't, we will also begin. And you can rewatch this video at any point if you want to go over any of the exercises or concepts. Just a few more minutes, guys, and then I shall begin. Okay, guys, it's more or less 5 past now. We can begin. 4 past to be precise, but hopefully that's given everyone enough time. So to begin, we're going to be talking about time today, as I mentioned earlier. We're also going to be talking about um, prepositions and how it links to time. So this word here, but time is going to be our key feature and topic today. So to begin, when someone asks you what is time, what do you think? It might sound like an easy question, but if I were to ask you to define it, it becomes a bit more difficult to exactly say what it is. So if someone asks you what's the time, you might say, well, it's 2 o'clock or 10 to 2 in the case of this clock. So you can refer to the actual time on the clock if someone were to ask you about it. Um, Another definition could be a historical definition. So let's say hundreds of years ago, um, certain groups had to live in very difficult conditions, and they did. We could say those were dark times. Now, in that particular scenario, we are not referring to the um, the axis on a clock. We are referring to um, something a bit more something in the distant past, right? And not just within that time frame on a clock, which only covers either 12 hours or 24 hours, depending on how you're viewing the time, right? Okay, so again, it's quite difficult, but don't worry, I'm going to explain this with examples as we go on and make it a lot more clear. So, to give you a dictionary definition, and most dictionary definitions for time are quite difficult to be honest. Now, I found this one here, which is a bit easier to understand than most definitions from the dictionary. So it's time is defined as the duration. Keep this word in mind, duration. It's a very important word. So time is defined as the duration in which all things happen, right? Things happen. It's a key phrase right there. Things happening. We want to measure that. We want to give that a name. So we say time. Or a precise meaning exact, something that is, you know, accurate, instant, that something happens. Again, something happens. An example of time is the Renaissance era. So I think it's about what, the 15th to 16th century, around then. So you could call that the Renaissance era. So we're talking about a particular time. Another example of time is breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning. So here we're talking about the particular day or the time of day, which is morning, and we're talking about 8 o'clock. So you can check that out on a clock or a watch or whatever, right? Another example of time is a date. So at noon next Saturday, noon meaning afternoon, and Saturday referring to the day. So as you can see, time can be used to talk about many things, and its definition is very broad as a consequence. Okay, so to kind of solidify this, we're going to do some exercises and use some examples. So you recognize these three words: in, on, at. What kind of word class do you think they belong to? Have a guess. Are they verbs? Are they adjectives? Are they nouns? Are they prepositions? What are they? Well, there's a clue here, right? I know it's quite small to read, but we can go back here. That's an even bigger clue. So they are prepositions, okay? So Prepositions. So we can call these time prepositions. We use these very often when we're referring to time. In, on, and at. So let's begin with in. We can use it to describe parts of the day. So we can say in the morning. We can say in the afternoon or in the evening. Um, we can use it for months. So in January, in February. We can use it for years, in 2001, in 2002, and we can also use the word in to describe seasons. So in summer, in winter, in autumn, and spring. Um, Next one, on. Very easy to confuse these two, in and on, because you know they are used in similar areas of the sentence or when you're talking, so very easy to confuse them. So for on, when we generally talk about days of the week, we can say on Monday, we can say on Tuesday morning, we can talk about the dates. So the 12th of July, my birthday, on my birthday. If we're talking about Christmas Day, we can say um, I went to my friend's house on Christmas Day. So the word on. So it refers to these categories here. Finally, we have the preposition at. Now, this can refer to times, um, specific time. So at 3 o'clock, at midday, at midnight. It can refer to special occasions, at Christmas, at Easter, at New Year, and it can also refer to the weekend. So at the weekend, at night. So based on this model here, the three examples we've outlined here, I'd like everyone to have a go at filling in these gaps. So to begin, my father's name is Jack. He is a maths teacher in an elementary school. Blank, the mornings he usually gets up. Blank 6:30. So have a guess. What do you think will be going in here? So the key phrase you should be looking at is the mornings. So if we look at our examples up here, so look, it says here the mornings, right? And you'll see here we have Tuesday mornings. So we're referring to days of the week, we're referring to dates, but we also have here in the morning, parts of the day. Um, so what do you think goes in here? I'm not going to give you the answer now. I just want you to guess, and we'll fill them all in at the end. Well, if we're using this model here, we have a phrase called in the morning, right? So we'd say in the mornings he usually gets up. Now we have 6:30. In the mornings he usually gets up. So would we say he gets up in 6:30? So do we have a specific time here? If we're talking about the clock, 6:30. This is referring to the time you would see on a clock, 6:30 in the morning. Um, he usually gets up in 6:30. No, we don't see that here. Here, however, you'll note there is a specific time frame, 3 o'clock, referring to a clock. So we can say um, at 6:30. Next, but this is only blank weekdays. So keyword weekdays. So could we say, but this is only in weekdays? Could we say that? Do we want to say that? Look at in. Now look at on. So on refers to days of the week. That's interesting. Monday, Tuesday morning, but this is only on. So that's a bit of a tricky one because weekdays, um, referring to the weekdays, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so forth, not the weekend. So, and it gives you a clue here, days of the week, but it doesn't specifically say weekdays, right? Next, where are we? Because it's blank the weekend, because at the weekend, at the weekend. So here we have at the weekend, the word at 6:30. No, where were we? Oh yeah, here. He gets up later. So here we are again. Full stop. So Tuesdays and Thursdays. So remember when we're referring to days, what do we use? We use this one, which is on. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, he has lunch in the school. And remember when we're referring to a time frame, 12:30, your clue is over here. At. Because he has lessons both blank the morning and blank the afternoon. So the morning. You'll see here. So we could theoretically say in the morning and in the afternoon. The other days he finishes work blank midday, so he comes home for lunch. Okay, so midday, where did we see that? We see it here, right? Referring to specific time periods. So at midday. Where are we now? Morning and in the afternoon. The other day he finishes work at midday, so he comes home for lunch. He sometimes corrects exercises blank the evening after. So the evening, where did we see that? In the evening, here. And that preposition is in. My father has summer holidays blank August. So we're referring to a month here, a particular month. Do we have anything for a particular month here? Yes, we do. In, we use for particular months. So again, we would say in August, not on, not at. But he also has a 2-week holiday, Christmas. So here we have special occasions, at Christmas. Here we have on Christmas Day. So refer to the context. So we have, but he also has a 2-week holiday, and we just have Christmas. We don't have Christmas Day. So on this example, we could use Christmas. Now you can use on here too. In this case, the two are interchangeable. There's been a lot of change and variation between at and on with certain phrases, but for the sake of this exercise, and because we're using this example here, just use at for now. And 1-week holiday, Easter, special occasion, and 1-week holiday at Easter. Amazing. So we've completed those. Now we're gonna move on to activity 2. So what this activity wants us to do is correct the sentences with the correct time preposition. So in, on, and at. So what do you usually do blank the weekend? So remember our examples. The weekend. So we say at the weekend. Now again, you can say on the weekend as well, but you wouldn't say in. but in this particular example, we're going to use at just to stick with standard English conventions and a lack of variation. So my father doesn't, so does not work blank Saturdays. So we'll refer to days here, and we have on, referring to days of the week. So days of the week on, usually. My father doesn't work on Saturdays. The film starts blank 11 p.m. So a specific time frame. Remember, specific time frame, something like a clock at. The film starts at 10 p.m. and finishes, remember, specific time period, midnight. Blank spring, my garden is full of flowers. So what preposition do we use to refer to the seasons? Have a look at that. Well, seasons are here, right? In spring, my garden is full of flowers. William Shakespeare was born 1564, so specific time period. Well, dates actually, to be more precise. So dates. So William Shakespeare was born on 1564. No way, that's not correct, actually. Usually when it sounds incorrect, it is. I'm confusing myself there. Anyway, my mum's birthday is the 5th. My mum's birthday is the 5th of May. 5th of May, so we're gonna say on this one. Our office is closed blank August, so we're referring to the months. So in August, there are a lot of stars in the sky, blank night. So it's not gonna be in night, so it's gonna be on or at. Have a guess. Which one do you think it is? Remember, it's referring to particular time of day, night in this case, where it's very dark. So on Christmas Day, children usually receive a lot of presents. Go back here, you'll see Christmas Day, referring to dates, and on. I never go home, so I never go home, blank, lunchtime. So is it at lunchtime, on lunchtime, or in lunchtime? So lunchtime referring to a specific time. So we could say at. Could say during as well, but we're not using that right now. My best friend always phones me the evening. Where do we have that? We have it over here. So in the evening, my my birthday, I always have a big party. Party. So here we have birthday again. So you'd say on my birthday. My family sometimes goes skiing for a week. Blank Christmas. So where do we have Christmas? We have it here. So we'd say at Christmas. I love reading in bed blank Sunday mornings. So in this blank, do we put in Sunday mornings, on Sunday mornings, or at Sunday mornings? Well, have a look at this. Here we have days of the week. So there we go. Next up, we have activity free. So in pairs, Now, I imagine most of you will be watching this by yourself, so ignore the pairs part. So what I want you guys to do is write complete question with the information given. So with the words we have here, when have English lessons, question mark, I want you to make a complete question. So this is not a complete question because it is missing a few words. So for example, I can say for this one, when, oh, formatting is a bit problematic, but do bear with me. When do you have English lessons? So we could say that. So what would we say for this one? What time have lunch? So I think key phrase here is do. Do you? We may need to use this for a lot of them. So what do you think we would do here? So we could say what. Remember, we're still using the same words, we're just adding our own ones to make a question. A full question. What time do you have lunch? So when see friends? When do you see friends? What have summer holidays? What would you do for that one? Sorry, no. When have summer holidays? When do you have summer holidays? What time get up weekend? So you can say what time do you get up during the weekend? I do believe they have some example answers for the ones I just answered there. Oh, so they have apparently 10 questions, but we only have 5 in that particular one, but that's fine. Anyway, so we'll just go over the first ones we answered. So when do you have your English lessons? What time do you have lunch? When do you see your friends? What do you have your when do you have your summer holidays? What time do you get up at the weekend? So they used at, you can use during as well, but for the sake of this lesson, at would be more suitable than the other prepositions. And here we have some more examples. These particular questions are a bit more essay based, so I do encourage you to have a go at them during your own spare time. Um, let's have a look at this. So, using the information in activity 3B, write a short text about you and your classmate. So an example is Peter and I have English lessons on Mondays and Wednesdays at 10 a.m. I have lunch at 1 p.m., but Peter doesn't. He has lunch at 2 p.m. So, keyword, you have, I don't know, so outreach sessions run on Thursdays and Fridays at 5 p.m. So you can use that as a starting point. 5 p.m. outreach sessions, or you could even call them English lessons if you'd like to. So you can say, I have English lessons, then you'd say on, but you wouldn't say Mondays and Wednesdays because we have outreach lessons on Thursdays and Fridays. Then you would specify the time. So you can use this example, but you're going to have to change out the words. So the keywords for you guys would be 5 p.m., outreach sessions. So when we are denoting time, we use a 24-hour clock. So what you can do is say this, and this would mean 5 p.m. So, this is 5 p.m. Whereas if you were to do this, it would be 5 a.m., 5 in the morning, really, really early. Um, so yeah, have a play with that. Try to come up with your own construction. Remember outreach sessions. Hold on, I'm just gonna give you a quick time frame. So outreach sessions, 5 p.m. What else? Thursdays and Fridays. And then you could, in the end, you can also say, so this guy has said he has lunch at 2 o'clock. This here just means 2 o'clock, 14:00. So I don't know what time you guys have lunch. So if you were to have lunch at, let's just say 1 p.m., you could say I have lunch at something like that. Or you could even say this for your particular exercise if you wanted to. You could also spell the time out, of course. Okay, as I said today, guys, today is going to be a bit of a shorter session than usual. Thank you very much for watching and attending. And if you obviously haven't had the time, do rewatch this video and just look at these diagrams here. That's the key thing to take away from this session. And remember our definition for time. So time is defined as the duration in which all things happen, or a precise instant that something happens. An example of time is the Renaissance era. An example of time is breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning. Another example of time is a date at noon next Saturday. Thank you very much.